So let's talk about why this truck is half-ton towing gold. Well, I'm going to go through what I did recently on a trip this past fall back from Maine back down home here to Georgia and show you where in one day I covered 830 miles in under 13 hours with this truck towing my Airstream travel trailer, and explain to you that the combination of the 5.7 liter that Toyota put into this truck combined with the 4.3 rear axle, which I'll give you is terrible around town, but when you make those two things together the way Toyota did and you put it in this package and you make it efficient and you put that with that 38-gallon fuel tank that they added in 2016, all of a sudden you have towing gold. You have reliability, you have fuel economy when towing, and you have range. So the first thing I'm going to show you is that on our way back, my wife and I spent the night at the LL Bean store in Freeport, Maine. We got up the next morning and we drove to New Hampton, New York. Now on that drive, we filled up right before we left the state of Maine, and the total drive time from Phillip to Phillip was about 303 miles. We stopped at a rest stop at about 284 miles so my wife could go to the bathroom, but then we continued on, and the next morning began our trip, and we filled up after 303 miles and then drove straight through from New Hampton, New York, all the way back to our home in Georgia, heading across 84 East to 81 South to 77 South to I-20 West, which took us to our home in Georgia. So you can see I'm at 136, 150. My last fill up was 303 miles ago. I went basically from about 25 miles into Maine all the way to the Pennsylvania border. We're gonna see what that total fuel mileage was. That's with the Airstream in tow. So we took 28.116 towing my Airstream that's full, which weighs about just under 6,000 pounds gross vehicle weight rating when it's full. We traveled 303 miles, 28.116 gallons. That works out to just under 11, about 10.8 gallons per mile. Or I'm sorry, 10.8 miles per gallon. And as we look at that and think about that, I still got 10 left. I probably could have gone to 400 miles almost towing with my 2018. We can see on this leg, we averaged 10.1. We went 282 miles in 4 hours, 25 minutes, which is about right from New York, just shy of Pennsylvania, we're into West Virginia, just shy of Virginia on 81. And we got 42 miles of range left. Let's see what the damage is at the pump. See, we took 27.572 gallons, which comes out to 10.2, and towing at about 70 miles per hour, mostly some 60, 65, even some 55 because of cities we went through in Harrisburg and Scranton. But still, that's what we come in at when we fill this up, is 10.2 to 10.8 here. Second leg of the day, we did 9.1 and 274.1 miles in 4 hours and 5 minutes. Sounds about right for pushing 70 most of the time, except where the speed limit doesn't allow for it. All right, so here's my rig with my 2018 Toyota Tundra with a 38-gallon fuel tank. And there is my 23-foot 2007 Airstream Safari. It's got gross vehicle weight rating of 6,000 pounds. Like I said, the water tank's full, so it's pretty close to probably about 5,700 pounds because it's also fully packed today. Okay, so it ended up being 30.352 gallons. That puts us right at 9, so the computer again is right on, dead solid. We're gonna go and head into this last leg home, which should be about another 4 hours or so. Okay, so that's 10.2 miles per gallon for 271.1 miles. I've got about another 3 miles to get home and then about a mile back to fill it up, but we can see 4 hours, 12 minutes. That included quite a bit of traffic in Charlotte, a lot of stop and go traffic on the interstate and some delays for about 15, 20 miles through Charlotte. So you can see we made good time, and 10.2 miles per gallon. We're gonna add that all up. But what it boils down to is under 13 hours, we traveled over 800 miles and only had to make a couple stops. That's pretty darn efficient. Tough to beat that. All right, so I made it back into my driveway. We dropped the trailer off I'm gonna take the truck up. It's about a mile away to the gas station. We're gonna fill it up. I already did the time it took us to get home. We're gonna go ahead and see on that fill up what this comes out to be. Again, I think the important thing to point out here is that it's 13 hours, or just under 13 hours actually, 800 miles. That kind of range with those stops, or those lack of stops in this Tundra, is what makes it so darn good at towing and so darn efficient. As you can see here, while I let my car idle, it dropped the MPGs from 10.2 to 10.1. I had to let it idle while I was unhooking everything, so I could unhitch from the trailer and drive over here. It was exactly 1 mile from my house to the gas station, so we're not really going to worry about that because the idling time took down the MPGs anyway. See, should be getting pretty close to full here shortly. There we go, 27.673. We'll go ahead and do the math on that. So in summary, that's towing, including stops, averaging almost 65 miles per hour. Actual towing speed was probably closer to just right around an average of 70 to 72 most of the trip, averaging right at 10 miles per gallon for 800 miles, and able to do that, or 830 miles actually, and able to cover that in 12 hours, 45 minutes. That's an impressive trip. If you've got a truck that you think can do that and handle that, tell me about it. Because if it's not this truck, I don't think there's any other half ton out there that can tow like that.